Hey guys, happy May the 4th be with you today, which, of course, is, celebrating I guess you could say the franchise known as Star Wars because of May 4th, May the 4th. But we're not here to talk about that. Instead, we're here to talk about the other theme that's associated with this month, and that is melting. Now, true, May does have basically, several other themes to go along with it. The other theme, that people associate with it is mermaid. In other words, basically a take on mermaid, merman, that. So mermaid. And basically, just like with the melting theme for the month, people will do little non-canon, one-off stories, writing, webcomics of established IP characters or their own OC original characters, temporarily, if not permanently, turning into mermaids. And also, they would do pictures of their OCs or established IP characters being mermaids. And it's ironic, too, that this month we will see the release of the remake of Disney's animated classic, The Little Mermaid, at the end of the month. But like I said, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the melting theme, which I think has been around for a little longer than the mermaid theme, if you will, has been. And like I've mentioned before, the reason for this theme is I think it was created, in my opinion, because when you get to a certain portion of the month, whether it's right away or it's in the first or second full week of the month, depending on where you live, you kind of start feeling like you're melting because of how hot it could be, how humid it could get. So, in my opinion, I believe someone noticed that and said, you know what? Why don't we do a theme, for the month of May and call it Melting May? And, well, the rest is history. And a lot of artists, writers, webcomic artists, if you will, animators, have, taken to that theme. They've taken to it by doing these little monthly, weekly, one-offs, stories, webcomics, animations, pictures of established, character IPs or their own OCs, basically experiencing melting. And sometimes the stories are only done once a year, and given a lot of focus, if you will. For example, as I've mentioned in my recent review of both stories, the second story I reviewed was The Melting Mei Part 10, which is a continuation of last year's Melting Mei series done by Dizzy Arts, aka Michelle, known for Metamorphosized to Malleability. And, in this story, long story short, just to give you a little bit of a hopefully very short recap, it focuses on two characters. The main character that it's named after first discovered the power by buying a lotion from her friend's, massage place, only to find out that this lotion has some unique properties that causes her to melt into a puddle of goop, which of course she was, kind of worried about. But then as she got more used to it and more accustomed to it, she basically started to experiment and realized, hey, this is actually pretty fun. I could do some creative stuff with it. And when she melts down into a puddle, she can become, so relaxed, and as well as also, in certain ways, have some pleasurable moments. To the point that she decides she wants to share it with her friend, who she also has, I guess, a crush on, a thing for. The woman she bought it from, Zahara. And just like Mei, Zahara's reluctant at first, but over time, it wins her over, and she gets just as creative, as Mei over time, to the point that not only do they finally do express their love for each other and become a couple, but they have very frisky, intimate, gooey, melty fun, to the point that, like at the end of the last chapter, chapter 10, they basically will explode, I guess you could say, in orgasmic pleasure, to the point that bits of them are tethered together, pieces of them are tethered together, and just splatting and just falling all over the place before they can pull themselves together. Now, what's interesting though about this story, and other stories do this too, when it comes to relating to the melting theme for the month of May, is what's interesting about this one is it has a plot, or it's going to be having a plot now, starting with this new year, this third season, if you will. And the plot basically focuses around, an entrepreneur who we got introduced to in a sneak peek last year, which was the part 9. Part 9 was supposed to come out this year, but, Michelle decided, hey, I'll give you a sneak peek if you want it, and everybody did. But anyway, this entrepreneur is supposed to be the most successful, untouchable masseuse, businesswoman in the land. And she doesn't like being shown up even by the smallest of businesses, that are in the same field as her. So when she finds out that basically Zahara's business is really just on the uptake and, doing a lot better than even she can expect or even thought it could, and it's all because of this special mud bath elixir that people soak in, known as the restoration soak, she wants in on it. But when Zahara says no, she decides to send, I guess you could say, a master of disguise, shapeshifter herself, known as Elizabeth, to pose as different, clients to go experience, Zahara's business, basically on her watch. Basically, the businesswoman is paying for this, if you will. And thus, this Elizabeth girl is getting it all for free, But basically, she's having this Elizabeth go pose as different clients to get the treatment. And then, while she's trying to get the treatment, the massage and then the soak, that while she's soaking, to try to gather up a sample, in some kind of container, what's the word I'm looking for? A vial? Yeah, a vial, of like a little vial tube or something. She's trying, every time she goes, she tries to collect a sample of the mud bath, the elixir. Not knowing that this elixir, this mud bath that everybody is talking about, that's making Zahara's business, really rocket to the top, is actually Miai, is actually a person, that's discovered, that is able to gain this ability due to the fact of the special lotion that her friend was selling. So stories like this, even though it might take time, if not right off the bat, will have plots to it outside of the normal characters are going to have fun with these abilities and everything that they have temporarily or permanently. And that's the one thing too about this month when it comes to this theme. You will notice that in the animations, and yes, there are animations, in the animations, in the webcomics, in the pictures, the artwork that is, and the written stories, that a lot of the established IP characters that get utilized, or the OCs, in this case with the Melting Miai series, the majority of the story is the characters not only discovering what the new temporary or permanent melting powers, shape-shifting powers can do, but also having fun with it. And like I said, going back to the Melting Me idea, I should say, excuse me there, you look at the end of the recent chapter, and that's kind of an idea of them having fun in a very frisky way. But at the end of the day, and at the end of the month, which this will be coming to an end around Memorial Day weekend, May 31st. But when you get down to it, I think that's what the theme of the month has always been. To be creative in a way from a story perspective, from a artistic perspective, from a webcomics perspective, you name it. I think the ultimate goal when this was all started was to, take your creativity to another, in a very unique, strange, but, one-off kind of direction that you wouldn't normally go to, for the rest of the, all the time, I should say, or you won't go back to for the rest of the year, but on occasions. I think the purpose of this was just to let loose, if you will, just let loose, have fun, and just kind of explore the possibilities, of what kind of fun, a character, like let's say you write your own OC character, you put yourself in that OC character, in the shoes of that OC character, what fun you would have if you had the ability to do this even temporarily. And again, I think that was the main goal of this whole Melting May theme from the beginning, to have fun. Just like people have fun with the Mermaid theme of the month, that artistically and stuff. I think the same could be said here, where you could have creative fun and just, go a little silly, a little wacky, even if it's just once a year, for the next, for 1 month, and just seeing maybe if you like going in that direction. And that's it. I mean, I could tell you honestly, one person that I know would probably explore it if she and her soon-to-be husband wanted to explore it in the future is Mel Sky. Mel Sky, who's known for her Sky OC, who's a Sonic-based, Sonic Knuckles-based OC, if you will. She has done artwork where she and another female OC Echidna character she's created would become gooey and melty and chocolatey at times, but not complete meltdowns and all that. But, one would become chocolate, one would become marshmallow cream, and it'd be like, well, all you have to do is smush them together and they'd fuse into one, or smush them together and they'd be a, a mixed puddle on the ground, that of marshmallow and chocolate. To me, Mel Sky in my opinion, would be the kind of person that if she wanted to, she could explore that. She could explore that just for fun, even if it's for one time a year. She would explore it. There's no doubt in my mind she would attempt to do it. At least consider, okay, it sounds like fun. These stories people are doing, this artwork people are doing, it looks like fun. Should I try it with my character, since I've kind of teased that at times? To me, it's something that she could consider, or would consider. But would she do it? That's up to her. But to me, when I look at the pictures, where she has her character and another female OC Echidna character in that state of being chocolate and marshmallow cream, being kind of slowly smushed together or melting together slowly, to me, that kind of tells me that she would at least, attempt to do it. Or at least give it a chance, even if it's just once a year. And that's it. But again, that's up to her. But when I look at those, I can tell she's having fun drawing them. And that by having fun drawing them, she's in the process, allowing her characters that she's drawing in these predicaments to have fun as well. And like I said, I think that's the main thing about this whole month. Artistically and writing-wise, typing-wise, if you will, when it comes to stories, webcomics, animations, regular pin-up pictures, if you will. I think that's the main thing, to have fun. And that's why I think everybody always looks forward to this. That's why everybody always looks forward to this time of year. It's not because of the fact that, during the first or second full week of the month, it gets hot. Depending on where you live, it gets hotter and you feel like you're melting. And, somebody that came up, someone that, felt like that decided, hey, that would be a good thing for this month. And there you go. It's not just because of that. It's also because, as you get closer to what is known as your summer break, and it's, a time where you can let loose, have fun, and just ignore the stresses of life, hopefully. To me, the melting theme here for May, that's just the ice. That's just to me that to me is the first step in making that happen. That's the first step in making that happen, to kind of get you in that mood, in my opinion. But yeah, to me, that's what this melting theme for May, known as Melting May, in my opinion, is all about. Having fun and being able to, even once a year for a whole month, show off your creativity, in the umpteenth degree, from my opinion. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. How do you feel about the Melting May theme? Were you ever fond of it? Did you ever find creativity, have fun with it? Let me know down below. And have you ever, seen anybody decide to, even if they're not really into it, give it a chance? Creativity with their OCs or established IPs. Let me know down below. Love to hear from each and every one of you on that. I do apologize if I felt like I was rambling all over the place. As you know, with me, I like to do these things, without bullet points and just, off the cusp, unscripted, just shoot straight with you kind of deal, So I do apologize if it felt like it was all over the place. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. And until then, I'll talk to y'all later.